Hi guys, welcome back to Infinite Possibilities, the podcast where we explore the lives of amazing people, their choices, challenges and opportunities. And today I have a very special guest, Will. Hello.
Hello, thanks very much for having me.
Thank you for being here. And so Will, what is your kind of 1-minute introduction about what you do?
At KPMG?
Yeah, and then outside of work, but keep it brief because we'll dig into it later.
Sure. So I'm a consultant in the Policy, Economics and Public Impact team in management consulting. So we do a lot of reports, reviews and business cases for mainly government clients. Outside of work, I enjoy a lot of music. I play football, although we'll get into that in a bit.
Yeah.
And I also enjoy fishing, reading and spending time with my twin brother. We'll also get into that.
Wow, so wholesome, all those activities. Yeah, so we really want to know how Will got to where he is today. So we're going to go right from the beginning. So Will, what kind of child were you like growing up?
I was a pretty competitive kid because I had a identical twin brother. So as you can imagine, we were at each other's throats a little bit, but also pretty inseparable. So went to primary school together, went to high school together, and it was sometimes a bit difficult comparing ourselves to each other, as well as schoolmates and peers comparing us to each other as well. But one of the good things that our parents did was they never told us who was born first.
Oh, so, I was going to ask you.
Yeah, so they we never found out, and it just kind of prevented that whole, I'm older, therefore I get this. And it prevented that kind of perception with your schoolmates about, I know who's older, so therefore this is a better person, or all that sort of stuff. So I know twins who all know
they all,
whether they're older or not.
They flex it.
Yeah, exactly. So we had the opportunity to find out when we went got our driver's license, and we just said, no, don't need to know. So we don't actually know.
That's actually so wholesome.
Yeah, it was a really good decision from mum and dad because it kind of prevented all that competitiveness. There was enough competitiveness already.
Yeah, wow. And what kind of activities did you like growing up? So were you super into sports growing up?
Yeah, it was pretty similar to now. So sports and music. Played piano from year 1 through to year 7, and then played pretty much every sport that there was to play. So played football or soccer in the winter, and then cricket in the summer, and then a bit of tennis here and there, a bit of swimming here and there.
Wow.
So I was pretty good at tennis as a kid. And probably could have, done something with it, but mum just wanted us to do whatever we wanted to do, so we did a lot of stuff, and just kind of maybe a little bit more rounded than just doing one thing.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And what is your favourite sport if you had to choose?
My favourite sport right now is football or soccer, but those who know call it football. That it's been a little bit of a difficult 8 to 9 months at the moment because I've been injured, but I still love going to watch my team play, and my brother is in that team, so watch him play as well. So hopefully getting back into it within the next month or two.
Yeah, excited for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and then tell me more about music. How did you get into that?
Just started in year 1. Mum just thought we should kind of start piano lessons because it's such a good pursuit to have, and it's so healthy for your mind and your soul. So played that took lessons for 7 years, so year 1 through to year 7. Kind of fell out of love with it a bit. End of year 7, just with all the technical work and the theory and the structure of it. So didn't play for almost all of high school, or pretty much all of high school, and then got back into it about halfway through my second year of uni. Just in the mid-year break, just decided to sit back down. I got into a lot of Australian music. Like the smaller bands and that kind of indie scene. So I learnt some of the songs that I was listening to, kind of stick my earphones in and learn how to play them from there, and kind of fell back in love with it.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah. And did you was it hard for you to get back into it after that big gap, or did that muscle memory?
Look, definitely a bit of difficulty. Couldn't do much other than chords. So started off with that, and then very slowly moved into learning melodies and working on my left hand a bit as well. Yeah. But got those kind of skills back. I wouldn't say I'm super proficient at technical work.
Play me something, Will.
But no, it's been really good release through uni and work and the stresses that come with that. It's just really good to kind of escape for a bit.
And good for when COVID hit, right?
Yeah, exactly. Playing a lot of piano when COVID hit. Spending a lot of time at home, obviously. So we had an upright piano at home.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it was just really good to get that release and feed my mind and soul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've heard a lot of stories about people like falling, out of love with like musical instruments is when they do the grading. Was that kind of your case where it's just a lot of stress to...
Yeah, I'd say so. And not so much for clarinet, because I played clarinet from year 5 through year 12.
Yeah.
So I went up further in the grades for that one.
Really?
Than piano. Yeah, I went up to grade 7 for clarinet.
Oh, that's pretty high.
Yeah, and I was in bands and stuff, so that kind of definitely helped. With
And it's
kind of
social.
Yeah, exactly. Rather than just like sitting in your room practicing technical work, the scales and stuff, which I wasn't super a fan. I wasn't the biggest fan of it, but I really like playing the pieces. And yeah, I haven't played clarinet too much since leaving school.
That's so funny, right?
But
It's like
picked it up recently.
They have their seasons, like clarinet, no piano, piano, no clarinet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and recently gotten into saxophone as well, because I played in the big band in year 11 and 12. At the end of year 10, they let me borrow a school saxophone to learn on.
And you never returned it.
Could have kept it, definitely returned it. So yeah, because my brother he played trumpet, so he was always...
Really?
Yeah, he could get into any band. He could get into the symphony, the brass band, the big band. And I really wanted to be in the big band because I love that kind of big jazz sound. So clarinet didn't really fit in a big swing band. Some jazz bands they do, but not the one at my school. So they let me take a school sax home to learn on, and kind of fell in love with it again when I helped a friend's band out a few months back, and ended up buying a saxophone at just before the end of the year. Just before the end of the year when I moved out. So didn't have a piano either, so I bought one of them too. Yeah, at the start of this year. So I moved out a few months ago, and
wow! And then you brought all the instruments with you.
Yeah, exactly. The missing piece for a couple of months was the piano, so I bought one at the start of the year. Found a nice keyboard off Facebook Marketplace, and and that's been really good to stay into it, because otherwise it would have been that kind of gap in my life between work and football and stuff. I just needed that music.
Oh, that's actually so beautiful. Yeah, and how's the difference between playing on a keyboard versus an upright piano?
I mean, pretty similar. They are slightly different, obviously. The feel of them's different, and the sound of them's different. It's not quite the same as a nice rich sound from an upright piano, but I mean, I still play it how I used to play it, and the keys are the same, so it still brings me that enjoyment. And my housemates and stuff enjoy it as well.
Free performance.
Yeah, exactly. And one of my housemates is now starting to learn on that as well, so kind of giving her tips here and there.
Yeah, that's lovely. And what are your favourite songs to play on the piano?
My favourite songs to play are some of the ones that are my favourite songs anyway.
What are they?
So a few Sticky Fingers songs, including Lick Lip Loaded Gun, a couple of Powderfinger songs, and then just I kind of get into a lot of new music, and then once I've listened to it for a bit, I try and have a crack at playing it.
You try and play it from ear?
Oh yeah, well I have to listen to it like 10 times before I start playing. I'm not just going to listen to it once and be able to play it. Not quite that good, so it's the ones that I've really enjoyed for a while that I can kind of pick up fairly easily.
Wow, so you actually, do you read the music sheet and download it somewhere or buy it?
No, I don't like reading sheet music anymore. If the music's on the page, I feel like I have to play every single note perfectly, otherwise I don't feel like I've played it properly. With the learning by ears, it's much more flexible, and I don't worry about that as much, playing the exact thing.
Wow, you must have a lot of talent to be able to... I know it takes you 10 times or whatever
and it's a lot of practice, but
but give me 100 hours, I don't think I could play any music.
Well, if you give me 100 hours with one song, I'll learn it pretty well.
Yeah, and can you improvise then?
And
make up your own music?
Somewhat. I don't do it a lot, but I can have a go. That's probably my weak point is improvising. Same with the saxophone. I'm working on the improv side of it, because if I have a solo for anything, or if I had a solo in high school, I would kind of write one out and then learn it, just so I could play it without stuffing up and making a fool of myself on stage.
Yeah, and random question, can you sing? Because, you can play the piano, and then the next part would be to just sing with your favourite song.
I like to think I can, but I've recorded myself before, and I don't. That's why I don't really sing in front of other people. Yeah, so I like to think I can hold a note, but anything more than that, ask somebody else to sing for you.
Yeah, that's awesome. Wow. And then for the clarinet, so I remember like in grade 5, I also did the trumpet.
Oh,
so,
did you?
Yeah.
There you go.
But I don't know, like, did you have a thing where you were trialing different instruments and then like you saw a clarinet and then you're like, yeah, this is what I want to...
Yeah, they do that in primary school.
Yeah.
So before you start, they give you a range of instruments.
Yeah.
So it's like an extended music lesson. You go around and you try all the different ones.
Yeah.
And the clarinet kind of stuck out to me.
Oh.
Because the music teacher said that I had a good embouchure, which is like what you need to hold the instrument correctly in your mouth. So she suggested I give that a try, and that's what I picked up. And my brother played trumpet like you, so so he had the buzz down
me
pretty
too.
well.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how it started. And now my cousins, I got 2 little cousins, one's 16, one's 12, and 16-year-old plays the clarinet, and the 12-year-old plays the saxophone.
Aww,
So I like to think I had a little something to do with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. They used to come to all our concerts at school.
Oh, that's so wholesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then tell me more about like on the flip side. So your brother, was he into the same sports, or did you guys?
Yeah.
Do you guys have very different like personalities, or your interests are very similar?
Our interests are very similar, so we both like to do
That's
the
so
the
hard.
same
That's
things.
so competitive.
So yeah, sport, music, fishing, and the so he we've kind of grown a little bit apart, like in terms of our personalities and stuff.
Yeah.
We were pretty similar growing up, but yeah, he's a little bit different to me, but I know that's what makes us unique, and even though we might look the same, we're 2 very different people.
Yeah, and then the real talk. Have you ever got confused? Like, you see him and you think, oh, that looks like me. Am I looking in a mirror, or that kind of thing?
Not in person, but there have been a couple of times where I've seen a photo and go, that's me, and that's not me. Happened to me the other week, but like 99.9999% of the time, I know exactly who I'm looking at. Baby photos is a bit more difficult, but you can still tell if you know what to look for.
Wow, okay, and what exactly do you look for, if you can articulate it?
You look for the shape of the head. So I was a bit squished coming out because, Mum took us to full term, so twins is
it's hard.
It's packed in there, yeah, so I was a bit squished in there, so my head came out a bit longer than his, so in the baby photos, my head's a little bit flatter and longer than his, so you can kind of tell.
Oh, I'll look for that.
I'll have to show you a couple of baby photos.
Yeah, wow. And then have your parents ever got mixed up? They call you Will, and then they look to your brother.
Yeah, but not by looking at us. So they can obviously tell us apart. They've been able to tell us apart since day dot. But if like Mum's calling out to one of us or something, she might just say the wrong name, but then just go Hugh, William, know exactly what they're talking about. So they don't get us mixed up, but maybe if they're yelling for us, they might just say the wrong name.
Yeah.
But it happens very rarely now, and even less now that we've moved out. So. Yeah.
And then tell me more about school. So how did you sort of fit in the school environment? You were the academic kid, but also the music kid. Were you popular? Did you enjoy school?
I was the pretty academic, pretty sporty as well, pretty musical. I did
everything.
Did a bit of everything. I wouldn't say I was like super popular, but I kind of had a few groups of friends who I'd kind of rotate through depending on what I was doing and what I was up to. So school was great. High school was really good. Year 12 was probably my favourite year. Just kind of we were really close as a cohort, so we did a lot of stuff together. So especially and stuff with other schools as well. So like our sister schools. We would do like mixed social events, sports and things like that. So that was a great time. Playing the bands and stuff at school as well, and all the concerts. Yeah. And
was year 12 one of the most stressful years at the same time for you?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. Lots of
I
studying.
would not say that's my favourite year.
It was definitely my favourite year. It was a lot of stress with exams and things like that, but we had a really close knit cohort, so kind of everyone knew everyone and no one like hated anyone or anything. We all kind of got along. Yeah, which is pretty rare. And we had a few inter-school wins during the year. So
good.
Yeah, we won the inter-school track and field comp for the first time in over 70 years in my final year. So we got to go to that and see that happen. So that was pretty amazing. And then took out a couple other trophies that we hadn't won for a long time. So a lot of like good cohesion in the cohort and we were pretty close.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then also what about in terms of careers at that time? Like maybe when you were in primary school, what did you want to be? And then in high school at that time, what did you want to be if you remember back that far?
I had no idea what I wanted to be when I know my brother at some stages wanted to be a maths teacher. He was very maths oriented. But yeah, I didn't really know what I wanted to be growing up, and I was told that was okay, so I didn't really give it any thought, because I just kind of went through going, oh, it's okay to not know, so I didn't really put much effort into it until year 11 and 12. I did really well in economics at school, economics and science and maths. So by the time university applications and stuff came around, that was kind of what I leaned into was the economics and science part of things, and that's what I applied for and got into at UQ was economics and science. So kind of continued that, and now I'm using those skills here at KPMG.
Yeah, that's perfect. And at that time, when you were deciding what you wanted to study, did your parents have any input or what they wanted you to be?
No, which was really good. They kind of wanted me to follow what I wanted to do, and they didn't want to influence us. Dad jokingly pretended you should get into accounting and stuff, because my dad's a chartered accountant by qualification. But I knew I didn't have any interest in that, because I didn't want to be sitting in Excel spreadsheets and crunching numbers all day. So, but yeah, pretty much decided for myself, which is good.
Yeah, and then when you studied at uni, economics and what was it, science, economics, and what were your majors in them?
So in economics, I majored in economics and public policy, and then within science, I majored in public health. Yeah. So I originally had a chem major for one semester, and I realised I didn't want to work in a lab my whole career, so I dropped that. I changed majors to public health, which I thought was a much better kind of combination of economics and science, public policy with public health. So I did subjects in health policy and health economics and things like that. So along with your more core public health and economic and micro and macro economic stuff.
That's cool. And did you enjoy the degree? Were you this is exactly what I want to do? Or?
Some courses I enjoyed more than others. Like some of the really nitty gritty maths ones were challenging, but not super applicable. In terms of the 2-period models and the nitty gritty maths and stuff. But the macroeconomics probably didn't enjoy quite as much during uni, but now with working at KPMG and seeing how many macroeconomic factors affect the real world and how much of it goes into our work, I've definitely leaned towards that more now. So I kind of made a bit of a switch there between micro and macro.
Yeah, that's cool. And for someone who's looking to study a similar degree, what kind of what is it like to study that, and what did your degree look like?
The economics or both?
Let's first do economics and then let's do science.
So the economics was pretty pretty structured for the first few years. Because it requires pretty careful planning with science. So when you do a dual degree with economics and you do a major.
No electives then?
Not for a while, So the first 2.5, almost 3 years of my course, all the economic subjects were structured out in prerequisites and no majors, no electives until my 4th year. So 4 or 5 introductory and then intermediate and advanced microeconomic subjects, and then same sort of thing for the macro, and a couple of statistical analysis courses thrown in there as well. And then with the public policy, the public health side, same sort of thing. So first year is all your introductory public health courses, so introduction to Australia's health systems and some global health systems, introduction to how health policy is created and developed, and then a few subjects where we actually kind of wrote policy or analysed policy and wrote briefs and stuff like that. So pretend, but so that was kind of a bit more real world, more applicable.
So would you say the economics is very maths heavy, and then the science was actually more kind of writing, that kind of thing? On the whole. So the microeconomics was the more maths heavy out of the micro and macro, just because it was quite specific and very micro level. So there are a lot of kind of small micro models that you could play around with in your variables and stuff, and then macro you had more
large scale indicators like your inflation and exchange rate and interest rates and stuff like that. Public policy, public health, not a lot of maths involved in that. Yeah, if you were going to do maths, it was like you were trying to find some like population parameter or something like that for a health, for like a disease or something, and you were doing some maths around calculating that. Mostly writing for the public health. So it could get a little bit dry at times with the amount of writing and policy and reading to do, but on the whole, mostly writing.
Yeah, that's cool. Do you have a preference, the economics or the science? If you had to choose.
I've probably combined the two at the moment. So I do more of the economic side of things now at KPMG, not a lot in the health space, although my team does have a health, aging and human services sub-team. So I could have ended up there, but ended up in kind of more the general economic side of things. And I'm actually not doing a whole lot of the calculations and the modelling or cost-benefit analysis and things like that. I'm mostly on the writing side of things, so business cases where we take those numbers and I turn them into paragraphs and chapters and present them like that.
Yeah, that's cool. And then what did your brother study at uni? Because that's when you guys sort of first started to diverge in interests.
Yeah,
is that
definitely. Correct? Yeah. We did 1 or 2 different subjects in year 11 and 12. But uni was where we kind of diverged and found different friend groups and kind of found our own path from there. So he did maths and science degree.
Still kind of similar to yours, like you
utilise once you hear the major, you go, oh, okay, not really similar. He did marine biology.
Yeah.
Yeah. So his passions in like study went into marine biology and marine ecology. So he's currently searching for jobs in the marine and fisheries space. So in fisheries management or aquaculture or things like that.
Yeah, that's so cool. And did you ever consider that pathway?
I did. My enjoyment of fishing and stuff definitely would have propelled me into that. But kind of I was more leaning towards the economic side of things. But Hugh really enjoyed that marine biology side of things, so he said, that's what I want to study more. So he finished his undergrad in mid 2021, the same time as me, and went on did an honours year, did an honours project investigating Atlantic salmon.
Wow.
Yeah, so analysing their growth rates with respect to different factors and stuff. So
that sounds kind of like a fun project.
So it was stressful at the end of it, but he ended up doing really well with it and wants to use it in that industry somewhere.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But he also really loves music, so he also wants to do something in that space as well.
Wow, and
if he can get in there,
Yeah. Are we talking like piano or trumpet for his love for music?
Both, but mainly piano and writing music as well.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so he's written a couple of songs, which he showed me the other day, and
it's good.
They're both pretty good. Yeah.
Wow, and he's going to get a YouTube channel.
I'll bring it up with him.
Yeah.
I'll bring it up and see what he thinks. Yeah, but he's written a couple of demos and they sound really good. So we'll see what happens from there.
Awesome. Yeah, and then choosing different degrees at uni, was that hard? Like this is kind of like someone who's always been there doing the same path, and then to divert.
No, I don't think it was hard.
It wasn't?
No, I think it was kind of time for us to kind of find our own thing. And school was very structured and contained. Yeah. So it was pretty normal to have that kind of routine where you're doing the same things over and over. It wasn't necessarily by choice.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yes, you choose this, we chose the same subjects because we have a lot of similar interests and skills, but it wasn't really so much of a choice to kind of be at the school and do those courses and spend a lot of time together. So once we got to uni, it was kind of an opportunity for us to branch out from each other and do our own thing. Yeah,
that's awesome. And then also back to uni, tell me about your sort of first job ever.
First job ever?
Yeah. Was it at uni or was it before?
It was during uni. So my first little job was academic tutoring. So I just kind of helped out little year 5 and 6 and 7 kids and stuff. So cute. I think that was during year 12 just for a small amount of time, and then first year uni, just before first year uni, started my first proper part-time job at Coles in the Deli.
Woohoo!
So my brother and I both got hired at the same time in
Lol.
the same department.
Oh my gosh.
Both deli boys. So
Yeah.
that was confusing to our team members and all the customers that we served as well. Definitely seeing double for a bit there until we didn't work a lot of the same shifts for a couple of years because I did a lot of mornings and he did a lot of evenings, just the way uni kind of worked out and the scheduling. So we weren't seen together in there too much. But
Yeah.
the weekends it got a bit hectic when we were both working.
Yeah, and how long did you work at Coles as a deli boy?
I worked at Coles for a week shy of 5 years. So didn't get my 5-year badge. I don't know if I wanted my 5-year badge.
Would have got some chocolate or something, eh?
I think I got a box of favourites or something like that. Yeah.
Sorry for your loss.
No, it was a great time. It all depends on the manager. So like your manager completely like makes your work environment.
Yeah.
And for the most part, I had really good managers who created a good work environment, and you kind of be yourself and not have to worry too much about being micromanaged and stuff like that.
Yeah. And did you specifically choose deli? Because most people would usually be positioned at the cashier and whatnot.
Well, when we applied, you actually apply for like all the different departments that you want to be involved in, and then when it came time to hiring, they allocated us to the deli.
Maybe your love of fishing or something.
Maybe. I have done other departments, so done a little bit of bakery, a bit of service, bit of meat department and dairies. But yeah, deli's where I was based, and that little strip at the back of the back of Coles Deli was my home away from home for 5 years or so.
Oh, that's awesome! And what's the day in the life of deli boy?
Day in the life of deli boy is, for me, I had a pretty similar routine every day. So I had setting up the seafood case, breaking down the pallets first, from the load from the night before. So breaking down all the pallets of boxes and stuff, sorting them out, and setting up the raw chicken, and then setting up the seafood. So you can imagine that after a day at Coles, I stunk pretty bad. So I come home and Mum goes straight in the shower. Shower.
That's so cute.
So that was pretty much it. Once that's set up, serve customers, and then just fill when you need to, and that was about it for a few years.
You enjoy it?
Yeah, I did enjoy it. Yeah, it was good to do something mindless. Like I had all my uni on, so it was great to not have to take work home with me.
That's awesome.
Just leave it there. Someone else's problem at the night, and then I come and set it up in the morning. Yeah.
Did it have its like stressful busy seasons, peak hours?
Yeah. Christmas and Easter. Christmas is a pretty insane period in the seafood section because we get hundreds and hundreds of kilos of prawns, and we get extra team to come in and just help serve prawns on Christmas Eve and the day before. So it's pretty hectic. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, and then back to KPMG. So what exactly do you do, and what's a day in the life for you? So in the policy economics and public impact team, we do a lot of report writing, business case writing, evaluations for government clients, so anywhere from local councils to state departments to state government and even federal departments. So a job I was recently working on was with a federal department, writing a business case, which is basically a big proposal to secure funding to do something, so implement some programs or change a policy or something like that. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. And then what's your breakdown in terms of like, are you mostly using PowerPoint? Are you like mostly in meetings or? My breakdown as someone who does a lot of writing is mostly Word. Yeah. So I can't say I love Microsoft Word with all its foibles and its glitches and things like that, but I spend most of my time in Word, and then probably maybe 70% of my time in Word, 20% in PowerPoint, and 10% in Excel. Oh, you use a bit of Excel. Yeah, a little bit of Excel. Quite a few skills, but I wouldn't say I'm wildly proficient at Excel yet. Yeah. So working on that. Are you guys like very heavy like client facing? Yes. Yeah. So we do mostly client stuff, and at the moment I'm on a project down in New South Wales, which is we have like fortnightly meetings with them, and we do a lot of consultation with them throughout the week as well, emails and ad hoc meetings and stuff like that. Yeah, that's cool. And then back to the sports side of things. So tell me about that injury and why it hasn't sort of killed your love for football. Sure. So first season at a new club, signed for Taringa Rovers in Indooroopilly. I played there as a junior and played for a different club all during high school and uni with some of my high school mates, and then got offered to trial with the Taringa team end of 2021 and was lucky enough to get picked for that squad. So about six rounds in or so, had a big tackle from a big centre back. So he was about that much taller than me, and he took me out. It wasn't a foul or anything. It was just awkward placement and stuff like that. And I tore my ACL in my knee, which is a pretty important ligament for lateral movement and stability. So if you want to play football again at the level that I was playing at, you need surgery to reconstruct it. So I had the reconstruction in June last year, so June 2022, and it's been 8 months in a few days since surgery. So I'm technically allowed to return to training in just over a month, and hopefully playing again by June, so the 12-month period.
Yeah, and you're still keen to play. Why is that?
I just love the sport, and I love the mateship and the camaraderie of the squad. We've got a really good squad, really talented squad, and they're all great people. So I need that in my life. I've been missing it for a while, sitting on the sidelines, just watching my team play, and I knew I wanted to keep playing, which is why I had the surgery. If I didn't want to keep playing, then the surgeon would have said, you don't have the surgery, because realistically you can live your life without that particular ligament. But if you want to play competitive sport again and play sport with your kids and stuff like that, and have that stability, then it said it's a no-brainer to have the surgery. So it's a lifestyle decision to have the surgery.
Yeah.
So if you want to keep having the lifestyle you have, then it's pretty much required. There are some cases where players go back having just done intense rehab and physio and strengthening and stuff, but you can do that in conjunction with the surgery as well, and if you do it properly, you can come back stronger than before and
that's
have a really
amazing.
low risk of doing it again.
Yeah. Do you think you'd be ever a bit scared to go back into it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd have that kind of PTSD kind of.
Yeah. It's very psychological and mental. So it is realistically half physical and half mental.
Yeah.
So you can do the physical side of things. You can do the rehab really well. You can get your strength back. But if you're not ready mentally, then you're not going to play at your best. You're not going to be able to trust the reconstruction and your new knee, and your body, the rest of your body, and you're not going to really trust the players on the field to not take you out again. So luckily, one of the physiotherapists that I've been seeing is a clinical psychologist as well. So
perfect.
That definitely helps. And I've had a few injuries before.
Done
my ankles a couple of times playing. So they're the ones I've done playing football anyway. And I don't really notice them anymore because I've kind of dealt with that, and I trust my ankles again, basically. So we'll have to see how long it takes to get the trust back in the knee, because the knee's it's a finicky joint. It's not really one that you want to do. Neither is the ankle, realistically. But we'll see how we go in a month or so.
Yeah, that's cool. And then tell me more about fishing. How did you get into fishing, and what do you love about fishing?
Dad got me into fishing. Well, me and my brother into fishing when we were really young. So 4 or 5 years old. We used to we used to go down to there was this wall at Yeronga. I mean, it's still there. It's this kind of little strip of muddy, sandy beach at Yeronga, and we used to go sit on that and fish in the Brisbane River when there was still bream in the Brisbane River. And we kind of stopped in year 6 and 7 sort of thing, when we must have thought we were too cool to go fishing with Dad on a Saturday morning or something. And then got back into it, and when we were in end of year 8, start of year 9, when we brought back up our grandfather's old tinny from Sydney. So we used to drive down for Christmas every couple of years, and one time we towed the little boat back up, and we took it out on the river with a little 6 horsepower motor on the back, and kind of got back into it from there. Yeah.
Have you ever had any sort of dangerous experiences, close encounters?
Yeah, there's been a few. So falling in off a break wall or something, or at that little wall at Yeronga, actually, my brother fell off it when he was about...
Break wall, so what's that?
The break wall is a it's like a wall to the mouth of a river sort of thing that stops the waves going into the river. Yeah.
Wait, so you're like fishing like from that wall and then he fell over, or?
Oh, the fall was the little wall on the river at Yeronga, so he was just like dancing on the edge and he just kind of slipped and fell in.
Fell into the water.
Fell into the water, yeah. Yeah, the breakable stuff was a bit later, so like if you had been to Mooloolaba.
Once or twice.
Yeah, and you see the walls at the end, the big rock walls at the end that kind of lead into the mouth of the river.
Yeah.
So we fish off those as well, like into the bay and into the river there. Dad's hooked a few big like bull sharks and sharks and
is that scary?
Yeah, it can be. Yeah. Like half the time they actually like snap the line, so you actually don't know what you had. But they fight. They pull with so much force that sometimes the line's just not strong enough for them because they're huge.
And you've never been like pulled in by what you're fishing?
No.
Oh,
thankfully I haven't been pulled in. My brother once hooked a bull shark while we were fishing on our kayak, and it towed our kayak around for a bit, and that snapped the line as well actually. But that was a pretty dangerous adventure, because we realised we actually didn't have a net. Once we realised that, we were like, well, what were we going to do if this shark came into the boat, or like if we got it close to the kayak, what were we going to do with it?
Wow. So and it was just you and your brother at the time?
Yep. Just
that's a bit scary.
Dad was there, but he wasn't in the kayak. So, and we were, I think we were 16 or 17 at that point.
Quite young.
Yeah. But most of the time we're pretty safe. There's a spot that we like at Fingal Head, which is just inside New South Wales, like 10 minutes south of the border. And there's a nice headland there and a causeway that you walk past as the waves like kind of like crash over this certain little part of the path. But if you time it right and you have someone there helping to spot the waves and stuff, then it's perfectly safe.
Yeah, that's cool. And what do you love about fishing? Is it like therapeutic or?
Oh yeah, it's really therapeutic.
Kind of like being in the deli, right? That sort of can switch your mind off to an extent.
But my like I'd say my mind's always working kind of pretty hard. Like when I'm fishing, it's pretty active because over the years my fishing style and my brother's fishing style has changed a lot. When we were
Very
kids,
technical, huh?
When we were kids, we'd just do bait fishing where we'd kind of sit there with the bait in the water and wait for the fish to come to the bait. Now we're a lot more into lure fishing, which is where you're casting a lure, or like made of plastic or metal or whatever, that either looks like a prawn or a squid or a fish or whatever it might be, and you're trying to attract the fish's attention. So you're always working a lure, you're always doing something, and you're always, like you might be casting a lot, but it's a very active way of fishing. So you're always thinking about when the next, where you could put that lure to try and entice a fish to come and eat it.
Yeah, and why do people do lure fishing, not just using like bait and then just move it around?
A big plus is that it doesn't smell as much.
So
you don't have to get bait all over your hands.
Saves money.
Or I wouldn't say that.
Okay.
Lures can be pretty expensive.
But you can still like use it over like a long period of time.
Yes.
But bait is just
if nothing snaps your line while your lure's tied to it, then you can catch a lot of fish on one lure. But the big draw card is you don't stink as much, and if you're experienced and skilled, you can catch more fish with lures than with bait.
That's interesting.
I wouldn't say I'm necessarily at that level yet, because I still have sessions where I go and I don't catch a thing. So it happens to all of us.
And then the question you've been dreading, tell me about that YouTube channel and how it started, because it's one thing to, love fishing, and then it's second to sort of document the journey on YouTube.
So that kind of all started in 2017 and 18, so through first and second year uni, my brother and I kind of decided we'd share our passion, and we strapped a couple of GoPros to either our chest or our heads and go to our favourite spots and stuff. So Talabudra or Coochin Creek just south of Caloundra, or Fingal Head like I mentioned before, and just kind of document our trips and just kind of share that little piece of information and spots and the experience with people. Unfortunately COVID kind of killed that. End of 2019, start of 2020, we kind of had to like how do I say that? It just kind of almost died a little bit because we couldn't go anywhere for so long. And once we'd run out of content to edit and put up, we couldn't film anymore. So and then with full-time uni and part-time work and now full-time work, it's been difficult to organise stuff to like go on trips together or film content and things like that. So bit of a shame now, but it was a good experience, and you never know, might pick it up again at some point. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, sounds good. At least you have like that sort of documented in video form of your memories.
Yeah,
so you can
it
go
was
back.
good. Yeah, it was a good time, and maybe a little bit cringeworthy to watch back now. But I mean, we were what, 17, 18, 19, so and the production value just wasn't there as well. Like if we were gonna do, like if we were gonna expand it or anything, like we just didn't have the production value that some of these other channels do. So
yeah, fair enough.
but it was fun while it lasted, and you never know if we get enough time, I don't know, we might pick it up again. We'll have to see.
Yeah, that's awesome. So we're nearly at the end of the podcast. Just a few more quick questions.
Cool.
So what do you think the meaning of life is in your opinion?
That's a big question.
Of course.
Meaning of life. Wow. I'd probably say a big one, and this is a bit of a cliche, but treat others how you want to be treated.
Yeah.
I know that when I'm treated well, I enjoy it, and when I'm not treated well by the people, that makes me either angry or sad or disappointed. So I try and be as friendly as possible and take care of the people who need care.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very wholesome.
Yeah, it is. Like I'm
that,
listening to your whole life story. It sounds very wholesome. Like you and your brother and your family and the things that you like to do is all very wholesome. So fits in very nicely. So if you won the lottery tomorrow, what would you do differently about your life?
How much money have I won?
Unlimited payout?
Unlimited payout. Oh, that's tough. I would. I'd probably go and live somewhere tropical.
Yeah.
And I'd have a piano.
Yeah.
I'd have some other musical instruments, saxophone, maybe learn the guitar or something like that. And go fishing all the time. Go to kick around on the beach. Maybe have a special someone.
Yeah.
But I think that would be really relaxing and you wouldn't hear from me for a bit.
That's awesome. And the last question is, what is an ideal day in the life for you? It can be work related, it can be non-work related, etc.
That's a great question. A day in the life, like an ideal day for me, would definitely involve some fishing. So get up early in the morning, maybe 3:30, 4 o'clock, depending on whether it's the summer or the winter.
Yeah.
Get to my spot before the sun comes up because that's the best time.
Yeah.
And
you're an early bird, huh?
Oh, I mean, it makes you be an early bird.
Yeah.
Because the best time to fish is in the early morning, like in those low light periods before sun up and after sunset. So I do that for mid-morning.
Yeah.
Come back and get a pie for lunch or something. So if I'm down the Gold Coast, I'll get Yatla pies. If I'm up the sunny coast, I'll come back to Beefies at Caboolture.
Yeah.
And then I know play some music during the day.
Yeah.
And I know maybe have a football game in the evening.
Yeah.
And read for a bit and then go to bed.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
A bit of everything that I enjoy.
Yeah. And that's the perfect day.
Probably. Yep.
Yeah. And do you want to say bye? This is the end of the podcast.
Yeah, thanks very much for having me, Karen. Really appreciate it.
And love listening to your story. So
thank you very much. Yeah, it's been great. See you later.
Bye.